Live music is one of the largest entertainment industries in the UK, and for many people, going to see live music is a huge part of their lifestyle. Almost every successful band and artist started playing out at small independent venues, meaning they're vital for giving people opportunities and are sometimes the only affordable option to see music live. However, across the entire country, many of these grassroots venues are now at risk of permanent closure. Live music contributes around £1 billion to the UK economy, but owning a venue rarely brings in money. Threats such as COVID, the cost of living crisis, and even noise complaints can be enough to close a venue. The Music Venue Trust work to combat this and bring the issue to attention. We spoke to Sophie Asquith, a coordinator from the Music Venue Trust, to find out more.
Music Venue Trust was formed in 2014 and it is a charity whose mission is to protect, secure and improve grassroots music venues around the UK. And we do that through the representation of our Music Venue Alliance, which is an informal network of venues, about 960 strong around the UK. And the charity advocates on their behalf to government at all levels, Westminster, Scotland and Welsh Government and local authorities around the UK, and also to industry, so that people can better understand the challenges which grassroots music venues are facing. You have so many costs involved in putting on live music, from overheads, rent, utilities, stock, all the upfront investment before you've even opened the door means that putting on live music is essentially a loss-making activity. Music Venue Trust last year in our annual report calculated that the average profit margin of a grassroots music venue at the moment is 0.2%. So it's just such a precarious position to be in, particularly as a renter. About 89% of music venues are owned by private landlords. Everything is just kind of on a razor-thin margin, and costs are so great that it can often be the slightest thing that can put a venue into a situation where they're unbalanced and struggling to get to a level footing. So Music Venue Trust is working really hard with government to help kind of push that understanding about the cultural value and the wider economic impact that grassroots music venues have.
This is the Owl Sanctuary, one of the city's most popular venues, which was forced to permanently close in 2018. The Owl Sanctuary was the home to punk and hardcore music, and now that it's closed, there is no venue that caters to this type of music. Here in Norwich, only 6 live venues still exist. Live music is integral to the culture of the city, and it has seen bands such as Nirvana, Blur and Amy Winehouse play before their fame. This is the Brickmakers, one of the last remaining venues in the city. Claire and Dale Brooks took over ownership in January, and despite the difficulties of running a venue at this time, the couple are more than making the best of the situation.
It's been a really good few months, actually. It's really hard to know when you go into a new business how you'll be received and if it'll work. And the Brickmakers, although it's nicely established, and even though I'm an established operator, moving somewhere else is always a bit of a worry. I'm pleased to say we've been welcomed with open arms here. It certainly wasn't the best time of year to take on a second business. In the middle of January is not the best time at any year, but obviously in the middle of cost of living crisis, that's even worse. It's been, from the business point of view, it's been quite a nightmare trying to get things sorted out, like gas and electric contracts, which are always a bit stressful, but at this moment in time when everything's gone through the roof, that's been really, really hard work, and trying to find a decent contract and people that want to take us on as well. The BT venue we run as a grassroots venue, the idea it's for new young bands, and it gives them a footing into what it's like to be on a stage and to have an audience, and hopefully they can go on and progress their careers. The whole idea was that as many live music venues that needed help as possible all got together, and all through Music Venue Trust, and they applied, they got grants, which is mostly through the local arts council, which obviously is government funded essentially, and lots of places are still getting ongoing help, and there's still ongoing grants that they can get for various different things. I looked into it where I was, but I was lucky enough that I didn't need too much help where I was. But here, I know that there was a massive grant was given to them, and what the Music Venue Trust did was really, really good. So many venues wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for it.
For many local artists, the Brickmakers is one of the last venues in Norwich that they are able to play. The pop-punk band Caves rely on venues like this to pursue their career.
I would say that playing live is a massive part of what we do. I think it's what our band excels at most.
Oh yeah,
I think it's like our selling point is the fact that I think playing live is like our thing.
So you just take anything that comes. If it's just like you need to pay £50 to play at our venue, just do it, and then be really, really good. And then when that happens, you can then say, "Oh, we just played last week at blah blah blah." Another venue go, "Oh, well, that's a good venue. That is." Well, and that's how we sort of did it with this. And then gradually they closed,
and now there's 3 venues.
Yeah. So it's become a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely makes it more difficult when the local venues close, because as sort of a smaller local band, these are the only places that we really play at this stage, and that's how you gain the popularity and that. I don't want to use the word fan base, but you know what I mean, those people that come and support you, and that's the only way we can really gain that. Everything in Norwich is just shutting down at the moment, isn't it?
Just because it's really super, super hard, and a lot harder than anyone expected it would be, it doesn't mean we still don't love doing it. And I think that can also go back to like what you said about the relationships before with other bands. You kind of all support each other, and you sort of cheer each other on. So
and it's great sort of venues like the Brickmakers, allowing people to go in and play their own music and have people turn up and listen to it. So that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, and people, despite the difficulties, people do still get themselves out, and it's not always easy to do.
Hey, yay, friends and Romans, countrymen.
Many artists who have now made it big still want to support the venues that they started out in, and musician Frank Turner feels especially passionate about this. Throughout the COVID lockdown, he played various live streams to raise money for local venues, and he even played the Houses of Parliament to promote the work of the Music Venue Trust. Ahead of his show at the Rescue Rooms in Nottingham, we ask him why he feels so strongly about saving these venues.
I was going to do a live stream for my friends at a venue called Nambucca, where I actually used to live a very long time ago, and where my career started and where the career of so many other people started, you know, Mumford & Sons and Laura Marling and Jamie T and vaccines and blah blah blah. And I was going to do a live stream from there, and then the full fat lockdown kicked in, and it was just like, I called Charles and I went, I don't think I'm allowed to come round anymore. And we talked about it, and I said, well, I could do it from home. I just did one for my crew and it went quite well. And then I just give you the money. And he said, okay. And it raised like £15,000 for the venue. And that's not an amount of money that's just like, tick, yes, we're fine forever. But it doesn't hurt. Do you know what I mean? And it tied them over a few very difficult months. And then the minute that I did that, I had 9 trillion emails and text messages and all the rest from other venues around the UK. I've done some weird gigs in my time, and I wasn't expecting to be asked to play the Houses of Parliament, the Palace of Westminster, ever, but I was, and it was for the Music Venue Trust, and so of course I said yes. It was funny, the last time that I was that close to the Houses of Parliament, I was being arrested on a demonstration quite a long time ago. That's enough said about that. But I guess my positioning on these things has changed as I've got older. It was funny, I had a laugh about it. I mean, you know, it's not my natural habitat, God knows. And, you know, these days in my life, I try and restrict any kind of public engagement with politics to be music focused. You know what I mean? It's like, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to music venues, so yes, I will campaign for the Music Venue Trust, and yes, I will go to Parliament with that.
Bringing the cause to the attention of the government does seem to be the quickest way to change anything, which is the mission for local Green Party councillor Beth Keys-Holloway.
My focus will be looking after our green spaces and the environment, but also to reach out to adults and children within the arts, because I think my background is in theatre, so supporting them in that for their mental well-being and the exploration of the arts is something that I am interested in, so we'll be kind of involving that within my time as a councillor as well. Because although it's a huge earner for the economy, it's still not taken seriously as a kind of a work form. It's still seen as a sort of a trivial thing, and it's always struggled. So it's really important to support it, because I think people don't realise how much they use it and how much it's everywhere. I think there is funding, but it's very difficult. If you're an independent venue, you have to write grant applications or write to the council for an arts funding, and some applications can take months to write, or I think sometimes even a year or so, depending on how big or how serious the grant is. And if it takes a hell of a lot of work, and then you're not actually guaranteed that you're going to get it. You submit it and they either accept it or they decline it, and they don't tell you why it's been declined. So that in itself can be off-putting for people if they've already got a full-time job, trying to survive with that. I think if you're an independent arts venue or a music venue, people are struggling anyway because of the rising costs and everything. There have been a lot of venues shutting because of the price of electricity, all of the equipment. People can't afford to buy tickets. Everything's going up in price. People can't afford that. Obviously, the artists need to be paid a decent wage. So all of those factors come in to make it more difficult. And I think that's been really put under pressure, especially after the lockdown. But maybe not even that, because I think people really realised how important the arts were in lockdown, because it's such an amazing form of escapism. It's with the rise, it's just everything is so expensive and people can't afford to keep their venues open. Yeah, there are other things that need the money, like our hospitals and stuff. It's all important, but I think the arts is always put on the back burner first. So yeah.
Though the situation looks dire, with 20% of the UK's small music venues closing in the last 15 years, there is still hope. Through the work of the Music Venue Trust, their Save Our Venues campaign, and consistent attention from bands, artists and fans of music, it is possible that these vital places, with so much history and so many memories, can stay open and thrive for many years to come.